Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another SoCast webinar. It is our Thanksgiving version. We want to wish all of our American counterparts down south, as we're based up here in Canada, in cold Canada. We want to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving and a very safe one. Hopefully everybody's staying safe and healthy across our entire network of friends and prospective partners. We're very excited about today's webinar. It's one we sort of do every year around this time to provide any partners or potential partners with some insights on how they can prepare for a successful 2021. And we're very excited to go through this. Obviously, I think everybody out there is looking to put 2020 behind us and looking for some ideas and thoughts, tools, and strategies to really grow in 2021 and hopefully recover from what for most people, and we hope not all of you, hopefully some people out there did have a good 2020, but what was a very challenging year, both professionally and personally for the average person. So let's get right into it today, and we got a lot to cover as always. So just before we do get into our content, we want to encourage everybody to feel free to ask questions. You can use the sidebar or the tool that comes with GoToWebinar, and you can ask my colleague Shay, who will be manning the helm there. She will be taking any questions. She will do her best to answer them all in real time, but in the event that we don't get to them, we will certainly make sure we get back to you in a reasonable time frame if we have to take any questions away. Of course, you're also welcome to tweet any thoughts about the webinar. At SoCast is our handle, and you can also use the hashtag #DigitalDollars. Me, I am Eric Eisen. I head up sales and marketing here at SoCast and love hosting these things. We'll have one more before the end of the year, as we usually do at least one a month, sometimes two, but stay tuned for that. Nevertheless, you can just call me Eric, and we'll get going very shortly. So before we do get into the content, we do have a word from our sponsor, which is us, SoCast. At SoCast, our mission is to work with radio broadcasters to make digital growth easy. A few takeaways from that is that, yes, SoCast only provides solutions for radio broadcasters. We are not a multi-industry or multi-vertical solution. Our focus is committed and dedicated to helping radio broadcasters transform themselves, transform their businesses into successful digital businesses as well, and grow their digital, both the digital revenue opportunity that we see is out there, as well as engaging with their audience through all of the digital channels that your audience is looking to connect with you. We'll discuss that a lot during today's webinar and today's session, so stay tuned for more information. Our platform is a uniquely integrated content management system and advertising platform. So we make it very easy with all of our drag and drop editing, click no code functionality to manage all of your websites, mobile apps, smart speaker skills. We have a very robust player that we can offer you, as well as we have a social relationship management tool and contesting engine built right into our back end. The platform makes it very easy to update and manage all of the content in all of those channels. We also have a sales platform that is a great technology set that will allow you and help you sell more owned and operated digital inventory, as well as deliver impression-based programmatic ad campaigns, things like geofencing, geo-targeting, retargeting campaigns through the exact same integrated dashboard. This way you'll be able to increase your digital revenue, and we pair that technology with an in-house sales team that will help you get more from your advertisers, sell more campaigns. We do three-legged sales calls with you and co-pitch with you, as well as provide you with all the training and sales materials you need to be successful with that program. And thousands of radio stations across the world rely on us, across the whole spectrum of micro market, single station owner operated, all the way up through enterprise level. We have a solution and the expertise to help everybody in all sizes of radio broadcasters. So don't be afraid to reach out to Shay and schedule a demo, or ask us at the end how we can help you and what tools you may need. Now the exciting part. Let's talk about future proofing and what we'll cover today. As we always do in this session, we always cover the trends you need to know for 2021, and we'll talk about some opportunities for both digital revenue growth and the way you can increase, amplify your content and your digital reach. And lastly, we'll make sure that you can check all the boxes and ensure that you have the essential digital toolkit you need to be successful and thrive when it comes to modern broadcasting. So let's get into it. What is the key to future proofing? Well, my theme today is diversification. We all know what it means, but effectively, we believe that radio is a position to really transform itself and enlarge and add more components to its traditional business by embracing digital. And that would be by offering a different range of products and by catering to audiences across a variety of different digital channels. The first strategy and area that we want and recommend that you diversify is with your advertising solutions and all of the tools that you can offer your ad partners. The way we see it, and our CEO, Elliot Hurst, has sort of proclaimed this, that local content publishers are starting to converge on the same audience. And radio is truly poised to dominate that local content and advertising market. With the demise of local newspapers and with people looking more and more for a centralized, localized online news and local information hub, radio can really take advantage of that and fill that vacuum. Now, as I said earlier, and we hope this isn't true for everybody, because we do know that there was some good things that happened in 2020. We do know that political ad spending was very high this year, across some non-traditional swing states that usually don't get ad dollars, and hopefully that offsets some of the impact that this terrible pandemic has had on our businesses. But that is the number one reason why advertisers said that they stopped buying in 2020. The other reasons, while you don't have any control over the COVID pandemic, you do have control over all of the blue bars here and everything, all of those elements as to why local ad buyers may have hit pause. And those are the ones that I really want you to focus on here, because those are the ones that radio can do something about, that you as business owners or people responsible for business lines at the radio broadcaster can actually impact. If you think about it, you see the second one from the bottom, not enough reach. There are ways that radio can offset that using digital advertising technologies. And if you're not embracing that, that is a big opportunity. You also have the third one down, difficult to measure. Attribution is a big thing. Again, digital advertising solutions will enable you to actually provide that attribution and track and measure the results of an advertising campaign. And it really does complement what you do traditionally, which we'll talk a lot more about. I truly believe that you do have control over most elements, any of the blue bars that you do have and you need, because as we move out of this pandemic and things do get back to where they were prior to the pandemic, you do need to start thinking about these blue bars and why advertisers may have hit the pause button in 2020 beyond COVID, because you do have control over them. The nice thing, the good news is yes, we are in certain areas seeing more lockdowns and things like that. But there is also the light at the end of the tunnel with all of the vaccine news that we're seeing. And more people are starting to feel safer and believe that we are emerging from the crisis, even as we go back down into, a little bit of a swell in number of cases and a little bit back into the crisis. Still, people feel that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and people are starting to spend. In conjunction with the holiday season, people and the public are starting to feel like they can go out and shop. There are more therapeutics. The mortality rates are down. Therapeutics are stronger. Obviously, everybody is still very cognizant of of COVID and aware of it, but they are starting to feel like they have certain elements of control over it to some degree by either wearing a mask or shopping online. So it is great news that that we do feel like, at least in 2021, by mid-year, a lot of people feel that things will go back to almost normal or pre-COVID conditions. And radio needs to prepare for that. The reality is that radio ad spend will likely increase next year, especially after such a poor year in 2020 due to the pandemic. But the bad news is that it will remain reasonably flat or even in decline between 2021 and 2024. But do make note that that does not include digital or off-air radio advertising. That is just your traditional revenue. And there are ways that you can work to offset that declining number. Now that gap filler is going to be digital advertising. And you can see that, well, originally the forecasts were much more robust at the beginning of 2020, that digital ad spending wasn't going to remain flat, where it is anticipated now as of sort of mid-pandemic with at $1.4 billion. It is expected to rebound and increase by 14% in 2021, and this is specific to digital revenue. So while you're going to see declining traditional revenues, you can expect to see a bounce back in digital revenue and growth beyond. The reality is digital ad spending by advertisers across the world are going to continue to improve in the long run. In fact, the fact is that e-marketers even up their digital ad spend for beyond 2022 in 2023 and 24 to continue to increase to even what they were forecasting at the beginning of 2020. So this is going to be attributed to a lot of different trends that have happened. More people working from home, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the pandemic. A shift to e-commerce. People are now more and more confident and comfortable shopping online. These two trends, as an example, are likely to be the driver of why experts and surveyors are feeling that digital ad spending will increase over the coming years. The reality is digital ad spending continues unabated, and in fact, after 2023, greater than 60% of all ad spending will be allocated towards digital, and you can see that the traditional line is going to continue to drop. Now, 2021 is going to be a big rebound year because of all of this pent-up demand for both spenders, consumers, and for advertisers, because they are going to want to get back on the radar and compete for the dollars. The dollar spends. They are going to be spending to create brand awareness and to reinforce their brands after the pandemic does continue to subside. And you can see that 2020 saw significant drops in most advertising sectors. In 2021, you can see that the majority of advertising sectors are going to see an increase and a rebound. So the dollars are out there for your sales teams to go after, and it's important that they're prepared to go out there and get those dollars. Big spends are going to be in computing products and consumer electronics with the shift from work from home. In healthcare and pharma, obviously, that will be a big one as people are more and more aware of their health, and with the crisis that's creative. There's been pent-up demand in the automotive industry, so the automotive dealers and manufacturers will be looking to spend that money. And a big spend will also come back in entertainment and travel as those industries rebound later are expected to rebound later in 2021. So what's going to help you drive revenue in 2021 and beyond? It's really a multi-platform integrated campaign. Combining digital solutions with your traditional advertising solutions are undeniably where the growth is going to come from, and where you are going to be able to stop the sliding traditional revenues and offset that with digital. And the shift is beginning to happen immediately. You can see that people are taking dollars from traditional mediums and putting them into more programmatic or more digital mediums, such as over-the-top and streaming video. Over-the-top television, OTT as it's called, is things like Roku, Apple TV, smart TVs are over-the-top television, or OTT. You'll hear this term a lot, if not this coming year, and if you haven't heard it already, in the future. Because as cord cutters continue to cut their cables with cable companies, advertisers will be looking to get in front of them on smart TVs and through digital, the digital channels that people are now getting their television content. So being able to offer campaigns to your advertisers through streaming video and OTT is going to be a big step in preparation for you. Doing targeted banners and paid search is going to be critical, that you can add those things to your advertising arsenal is going to be more critical than ever in 2021 and beyond. And the other reality is radio seems to be overlooking the fact that they have so much invested with their ad partners and they are considered a trusted partner. And advertisers are looking to narrow down the amount of media that they buy from different diversified groups. They're looking to narrow it down from 5 years ago. It was nearly, they would buy media from 5 different people. Now they're looking to bring it down to about 2. And there's no reason that radio can't jump into that vacuum and sell both traditional and digital solutions to their advertiser. Celine Matheson, a VP at the BIA Advisory Services, said, "There's an opportunity around digital that traditional media sellers might be overlooking. Buyers of traditional media are extremely comfortable purchasing a myriad of digital ads from their local salesperson. As long as you can become that digital expert, there is no reason why you and your sales team shouldn't be able to go out, given all the trust equity you've built with long-standing advertisers and ad partners, that you shouldn't be able to go out and sell them multi-channel, holistic advertising campaigns that cover both traditional and digital. Because the reality is you own the entire buyer's journey, which is a very unique thing for a media company. I've shown this slide many times over many webinars in 2020, and even I think dating back to late 2019, and it still remains timeless. The reality is that traditional advertising on radio creates awareness and recall very, very well. In fact, radio is seen when using attribution that it does drive traffic to advertisers' websites, incremental traffic. And then combining it with cross-channel ads that combine both traditional and digital drive higher brand recognition and drive people to conversion with both the owned and operated inventory you have, display inventory you have on your website, and targeted display capability. Targeted display capabilities that you can now offer people. Again, things like geofencing, retargeting, targeted display, etc. That is what will drive conversion. So you can create awareness with your traditional and conversion with digital. Thus, you're selling the entire buyer's journey to your ad partners. So it's very important that in 2021, if you're not doing it already, and we know out there because we sell a platform that helps radio broadcasters, many broadcasters out there are still not selling programmatic or ad extension solutions in conjunction with their traditional. That is a big opportunity for a lot of our partners to help them expand their reach and help advertisers target their ideal clients or buyers. This is a very important tool set that everybody should have, and even those that are doing it can use more training or more support. And SoCast very much offers both the technology you need to deliver these campaigns and the digital expertise and partnership that you need to go out and close these deals. So please ask us more about this and we'll explain to you how we can help you. So digital can offset radio's declining reach. The number 2 reason right here as to what advertisers are looking for when they're looking for an ad partner is reach outside of creative. And digital ad technology and ad extension technology will allow you to increase your reach above and beyond what your traditional radio offers and what your current owned and operated websites offer. And there are so many different types of media you can sell. This page is designed intentionally to be almost overwhelming because there are so many things. However, you don't have to bite off more than you can chew. You can start off with some basic targeted display and retargeting campaigns, and then expand as your knowledge and success grows with your partners. So it's really going to come down to taking a holistic sales approach that integrates both digital and traditional to really help you grow. And for Town Square, they found that that combination was critical to helping them drive significant incremental revenue in both 2019 and 2020. And it can really help you convert digital clients into broadcast clients and broadcast clients into digital clients. So it's a whole new way of looking at something going into 2021. In summary, we believe that both traditional and digital advertising spending will rebound in 2021, but digital will really be the growth engine beyond in 2021 and beyond. We believe that the digital advertising industry will focus on targeting, multi-channel with a big focus on over-the-top OTT. And the nice thing about digital is it provides immediate attribution. It is built in. All of the data comes from selling digital advertisement is unique. It's a big challenge radio has in this day and age, that digital has it, and traditional has always been hampered by actually showing their advertising partners very concisely and very deliberately how they are driving foot traffic or awareness. That has improved over the years, but it has primarily been driven by ratings. Digital is actually providing advertisers with more insights, and you too can offer that with a solution like SoCast. And of course, transparency is a big item with it too, because people are concerned that they're spending money and just getting artificial clicks or artificial impressions, views of their websites or ads. And you definitely need a partner that takes transparency and fraud prevention and ad viewability into account. Lastly, we believe that radio revenue growth will rely on selling multi-channel campaigns and capitalize on existing relationships. Where's the second area that you can diversify? The second area we feel is with your audience channels. It is no longer acceptable for radio to just think of themselves as an on-air through the radio medium. You must think of yourself as omni-channel content producers. You need to be where your audience is, because your audience wants your content wherever they are, whenever they want, and however they want it on whatever device. And you need to be there, whether it's in web, in app, a mobile app, whether it's in social media, whether they want to access at home through a smart speaker, a Google or Alexa smart speaker. They need to be able to find your stream in a variety of different places and it to be mobile, because you are no longer just a medium that's going to be able to survive in the car. And the nice thing about it is radio has all of the most important qualities that people look for when they're looking for audio streaming. It's very easy to use. It's ubiquitous. It's one button in the car. You offer, or you should at least be offering, a variety of available content, both online content and on-air content, whether it's blogs, news stories, or a history of what's played on your radio station, on your website or mobile app. That is critical. And that's just the baseline. You have to have a quality personalized content based upon that user's preference. That is something radio inherently has, because you are curated content for your audience by format. You need to be available across all devices. We just showed you that on the last slide. Your audience wants you where they want, when you want, and how they want. And you have to be available in the vehicle very easily, and that you obviously have done a great job at historically. You want to have curated content where available, and you want to have content available for downloading and offline listening. That is becoming something that is available more and more on mobile apps, that people, if you are doing any on-demand content or podcasting, that people should be able to download it for offline consumption. And that is a hand up that some of the pure plays have on radio, that radio needs to close that gap. And you need the ability to provide the ability to access content specific to their local market. And again, that is radio's greatest strength, is that it's live and local. So you check all of these boxes very well. Now you need to embrace them and make sure you're in all of those digital channels. Audio streaming online has become a critical place to be. And online audio consumption has grown significantly in the past 8 years and will continue to grow in 2021. More and more adults will spend time listening to digital audio than radio. But you, with your streaming, this does include streaming of AM, FM online streams. So you need to be, again, and where your audience is, and provide them with the channel to access your content, both your traditional and your online content. Some other trends, the car is definitely shifting back. Obviously, when the pandemic hit in mid-March through the summer months, there was a significant drop in listenership in the car as people were not commuting anymore, as people were locked down, not working from home. This has obviously seen a little bit of a rebound, but it's unlikely due to the fact that people are back in the office, because only a small percentage of people are back in the office and commuting. It's likely due to some pent-up demand to get out on the road and drive, and just being locked down significantly. So while we did see an increase, we do expect that increase will probably start to flatten out or drop. And the other trend you need to be aware of is people are much more likely to be working from home during COVID and after COVID. This is not a short-term trend. This is proving to be a long-term trend, in that working from home has allowed the businesses to save a lot of money. They are realizing that they have happier workforces in general. They have more productivity because people are less stressed out with their daily commutes and things like that. So work from home is likely here to stay. Given all the technology we have, either a hybrid solution where they have part-time office hours, part-time home hours, or full-time home hours is very likely. In fact, the number of employees permanently working remotely is set to double in 2021. Almost a third of people will likely continue to work from home after the pandemic ends. So how does work from home impact your business? You need to look at your digital toolkit and a shift in messaging. You need to ask yourself whether your team has all of the tools needed to engage your audience when they work from home. And also for your teams, as they may continue to work from home, I imagine radio will be one place that people do go back into the stations and studios a little bit more than, say, a company like SoCast. But the reality is it's proven that you can actually broadcast from home. So you need to make sure that you have cloud-based digital tools. That means that your team can access their content management system in all of their tools, their automation system, their trafficking system, their content management system from home, in the event that you have to go back in, another pandemic hits us, hopefully not, or that they continue to work from home. You need to make sure that your digital assets are integrated and optimized for workflow. So the more integrated and fewer solutions you have, the easier it is going to be for your team to manage all of your digital. You need to make sure your platform is flexible to support creativity, innovation, and new capabilities. And it needs to be easy to control, to make updates and publish content. We understand, because we have built our platform specifically for radio broadcasters, that people wear a lot of hats in the station, and that digital, while it is growing in priority, it is still very much the redheaded stepchild, and people are reluctant to embrace it. But if we make the workflow and the ability to publish content easier, there will be much more adoption and much more adherence to updating that. And you need to make sure that your platform is stable and your software is updated regularly. Again, we believe at SoCast that you should be focusing on producing great content, both traditional and digital, and not really worrying about the stability of your product. You can rely on partners like SoCast or others to manage that, hopefully SoCast. So in-home listening will stay strong with the work from home trend, and that is expected to continue with the US workforce that is going to see a big transition to home offices. We believe that that is where it is going. People will definitely be back in the cars more and more, but it will never be back to where it was pre-COVID pandemic. Another channel that is critical that you are engaged in from here and beyond, if you're not already, is smart speakers. And AM/FM radio is the #1 ad-supported platform on smart speakers. by a long shot. So it is very important that you have your stations available on Alexa, which is the #1 penetrated smart speaker platform across the United States. And the reality is by 2022, 55% of households in the US are expected to own a smart speaker. So that is growing very, very quickly, as is the use of them for a variety of different engagement. Things like voice activated searches are growing significantly. Mobile queries are done with voice. 40 million Americans currently own a smart speaker, and 58% of people have used voice search to find out information about a local business. So there's an opportunity for you to also potentially offer smart speaker solutions through a company like SoCast as a white label to your advertising partners. But this is going to be a big growth opportunity for radio broadcasters and for advertisers and retail businesses as people start to get, as the technology gets better, and people will start just shopping using smart speakers using their voice. So this is a big channel that everybody needs to be engaged in. So a little summary of this strategy: you really need to seize the day radio. You really need to stream omni-channel with your apps, your smart speakers, your websites, in any channels. People are streaming on their smartphones, about 2/3 of them, and that is going to continue to increase over the next few years, according to Nielsen. 55% of households will have a smart speaker by 2022, and even tablet use for streaming was up year over year. You need to promote it actively and create omni-channel engagement using appointment listening by mentioning and complementing your digital content strategy with your on-air strategy. They should no longer be thought of as two different silos. They should be really feeding off one another to drive traffic from one to the other. You need to promote your stream on air, on social media, and even use programmatic advertising to generate click-throughs back to your website for targeting your listeners. Digital requests and conversations need to be addressed through your digital properties because people are going to be looking more and more. Obviously, one of the great news stories out of COVID is that the younger demographics have started to embrace radio and come back to it because of its local quality. If you want to maintain that interaction and engagement with that younger audience, they are used to engaging their audience or engaging through these different channels, through websites, through mobile apps, etc. And you need to be enabled to do that. And you need to use your digital tools to connect with your audience wherever and whenever they want. The final strategy we're going to cover today is to diversify the content you produce. And as we've always said, local content is king, and omni-channel content strategies are key to growing listenership and engagement. So it's very important that you be the best, and you think of your websites and mobile apps as being the local hub for all the news, weather, sports, talk, and content in a local environment. We speak to me and my sales team speak to broadcasters every day across a spectrum of market sizes, from very large PPM all the way down to micro markets in towns, 5,000 to 6,000. And I will tell you that the #1 trafficked websites on our platform, of the top 50 most trafficked websites built on the SoCast platform, 70% of them are in small or micro-sized markets. And it's because those radio stations do a phenomenal job embracing and putting themselves out there as that local content and information hub for their listeners and for their communities. I can tell you that VOCM is a website built on our platform, as an example, in a city a bit larger of about 200,000 people in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. It does over 15 million page views a month. We have Vandalia Radio out of Vandalia, Illinois, a town of about 7,000 to 10,000 people, that does approximately 400,000 to 500,000 page views a month. And we have another station, CKRM, out of Dryden, Ontario, Canada, a town of about 14,000, that does anywhere from 1 to 1.3 million page views a month. And they have supplanted themselves as the local online newspaper for that community. And you can do that by providing local news, school closures, weather events, calendars, obituaries, business directories, and making sure that you've really put yourself out there. Classifieds are a great way to get local submissions and populate your websites with user-generated content, as well as to provide advertising sponsorship for specific categories. And this will allow your sales team to go out and target specific advertisers to sponsor relevant categories in the buy and sell or classifieds. These tend to be large traffic drivers for our partners, these pages, and again can be combined with your traditional on-air promotions as well, and as well as promoted cross-channel in social media as well. Closures, whether it's school, church, business closures, are very important. People look to radio as a local news source, whether it's as a result of weather-related closures or, in this case, pandemic-related closures. This is a very important opportunity for radio to embrace as well. And obituaries, some of the most highly trafficked pages on the SoCast platform are actually obituary pages in small markets. It's also a way for you to do a public service announcement or to act as a public service to the local community to provide information around losses within the community. And it does also provide you with a page that you can go out and target specific advertisers with relevant to obituaries, whether it's estate planners, funeral homes, florists, etc. You can target those advertisers to go out and get them to advertise on your obituary pages. Of course, we've already talked a little bit about targeting sponsors for church, schools, and business closures. And of course, business directories, whether you're offering them for free or paid. Obviously, during COVID, this has been a great thing. A lot of our broadcast partners have used our business directory functionality to provide free business directories on their websites for restaurants specifically who are doing curbside or delivery, all of those type of things. And again, you can also have sponsorable categories, tie-in reviews, and again, you can combine with your on-air and digital ad buys as well. It's a great way to promote Shop Local. Lastly, podcasting has really grown, and podcasting for radio broadcasters, a term I prefer is on-demand content. So it's not even that you necessarily need to be producing unique podcast content, although that is a great way to draw in new listeners and to keep your listeners' brand affinity for you up. But podcasting is larger than ever, and people are more familiar with podcasts and how to listen to podcasts than ever before. Podcast listeners are also, radio listeners are also very dedicated podcast listeners, as it turned out, according to a Nielsen survey. People who listen to radio also tend to be loyal listeners to podcasts. So if you can provide them with that on-demand content or podcasts, then all that much better. And it provides you as radio broadcasters with another advertising channel to provide to your advertisers, as well as another audio medium for your listeners. And there are so many different ways. I mean, I could sit and talk about, the different types of podcasts you can run on your site. So again, you can just have it be a morning review of your morning show and a replay or a behind the scenes look of your afternoon drive team before the prep time, whatever you like. But we could do a whole session on podcasting, just on how long they should be and what's entailed. But this slide here, and again, all of you will be entitled to receive this, is one of our partners does a great job creating unique podcasting content by leveraging local influencers in the community, and they do all sorts of different types of discussions and make this available for both live and offline listening to their audience. And they range anywhere, as you can see, from 5 minutes to 30 plus minutes, depending on the content. So they don't have to be complex. You can have a local restaurateur come in and share a recipe if you want. And, prior to the game day, you can see that that's great. Big, the blue blue pigskin plate, which is a great idea. And you can also, potentially use it as advertising revenue or to help close deals and offer more advertising channels for your advertisers like the blue pig. Another great way to do things is to think about your brands and see if there's opportunities to extend them beyond your radio station brands. We have a lot of partners that have come to us over the last year and said, I have some ideas and I want to have a digital web presence and maybe potentially mobile app for a specific targeted audience segment. So one group knew that they had a lot of local young mothers that listened to them. So they built a website on our platform called All Mom Does that provided themed content for that targeted audience segment who are very loyal and came to the website to find, very theme specific content around, things to do for kids, back to school shopping and tips, health tips during the COVID crisis, etc. And they had local mothers and influencers provide content for them. And they were able to share this content across some of their digital properties, both radio and non. It also gives you an opportunity to, if you have good traffic, to increase your digital ad inventory. So your owned and operated display inventory, because not only do you have the ability to sell ads on your owned and operated radio website, you can also offer, like you see in I-70 Sports, the ability for advertisers to extend advertisements onto a second digital property. This is one of our partners in Vandalia, Illinois, did that. They have a local I-70 Sports website that is dedicated to collegiate and high school local sports. And it draws a significant volume of traffic and has been a really successful program for them. You can also do things like Kinte News or, a separate news-only website, for example. Or you can see what they've done. They've done like a green website for Green Quinte where they talk about local environmental projects that they're active in, things like that as well. So again, I call these satellite brands or brand extensions. This is another great way you can increase your digital inventory, increase your audience engagement, target very specific advertisers, and also provide additional content for your most loyal, dedicated listening segments. So that pretty much covers our webinar for today. Let's wrap it up. The trends summary for you, we believe listeners will continue moving towards digital dominance in audio streaming. We believe digital audio on mobile in particular will continue growing. We believe listeners value personalization and control when being entertained and informed and connected, meaning they want to be able to access your content, both digital and traditional, wherever they want, however they want, on the device they prefer, in the setting they prefer. We know that local advertisers perceive digital programmatic digital ads as complements to radio spots, and that digital offers more trackable and tangible results, so an advantage to you if you're selling those. Radio can grow engagement through multi-channel content strategies with specialized content for each channel rather than over the air content. We also believe that local content publishers are converging on the same audience, as I said at the beginning of this webinar, and that you as radio broadcasters can take full control of that local content and advertising market. And we've seen it done. We believe the role of the radio account executive has evolved from old-fashioned salesperson to a business advisor and marketing expert that can provide multiple different advertising options, both traditional and digital, to attract new and maintain budgets with existing ad partners. And that, my friends, is our summary for today. My name is Eric Eisen. I love doing these, and I hope that you guys got a lot out of it. You are welcome to email me for this presentation at eric@SoCast Digital, or to book a demo with me. There's no strings attached. We're not a boiler room. We're happy to help you and do a free consultation for you, assess your websites and mobile apps, tell you where you're at, and provide you with some opportunities. And ideally, we can hopefully find some partnership opportunities as well. You can email me for a free digital checklist or a content cheat sheet as well, which are great tools to share with your team. I'd be happy to provide those to you. So just email me at eric@socastdigital.com and sign sign up before December 31st and receive a free Alexa skill with any web or app license you purchase for your station. So that's a great way to get into the smart speaker game if you haven't already. But we would love to help you out. Don't be afraid to reach out to me, Eric, at SoCastDigital.com, and I'll look forward to speaking to you all on our next webinar. For now, have yourselves a very happy, healthy, safe Thanksgiving, and we'll speak to you all real soon.